Hello all, Nim here. I'm here to create a quick guide on how to use Tamara's World Picture mod that you can find on the Modz forum. The World Picture mod, it allows you to create fantastic images in game, like this dragon here that I've created. And you can see it looks amazing. So the only problem with this dragon is this file is 12 megabytes. It's miles too big. You would never use this in game because it would just make your room very laggy. But this is the kind of thing and picture and detail that you can create. But let's show you how to use the mod in its basics form, so you can create these types of images and obviously images that you can use in game, because this one's way too big. So we'll just jump into the mod now. This is what you see when you first open the mod. Now keep in mind, this mod is not an in-game mod. It doesn't work inside 3DX. It's an external game. It's a .exe file, so you will probably need to tell your antivirus to let it open when you open it on your computer. So the mod has lots of buttons. It does lots of amazing things. Tamara did a fantastic job when he made this tool. But I'm not going to go into details about all of them. I'm just going to show you the basics to get started. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is, generally I'll click new, which clears out any data in the mod, and then I click load image. Now here's our dragon, and you can see I've just loaded our dragon into the mod. Now on the top left hand side you'll see the size of the original image, and it's 2000 pixels wide by 1000 pixels high, which means it's in total, if you look down the bottom left, is 20 million pixels. Now what Tamara's mod does is every pixel it creates a block for. So right now we're going to ask the mod to create 20 million blocks to load into the game. Those of you who know anything about the game know that that is impossible. The game will never load it, or if it does, it'll take an hour or two, and you can never use it in game anyway because it's just too detailed. The file would be miles too big. So what I did earlier, the image you saw just at the start of this video, I changed this to 500. Now because I have keep aspect ratio checked, the y-axis is automatically changed to 250. I click resize. Now if I look down the bottom, I can see my image is now 125,000 pixels. Now still too big, because as I said, this file in game is currently 12.5 megabytes, but straight away you can see by using the resize tool you can change the size of your image, which means less pixels, less blocks, the file is smaller. Now I'm going to click here, create elements, and what that does is it converts the pixels into blocks. You'll see here I've got segmented picture also checked, and I'll show you why in a minute. So a little message pops up because Tamara's warning me that this file is probably too big, and he is correct. At the moment it's too big. So it's going to take a few seconds to create itself, and there it has. It's just done it, and you can't see it in here very well, but essentially um, there's one great big white block here taking up this white section, and then lots of little blocks around the image, and that's what segmenting the picture does. It if the mod sees colors that are the same, it actually creates one or two blocks or one large block instead of having a whole lot of little ones. Now if we look down the bottom, we can see that my image is now 17,902 objects or blocks in the game. And right now this, as I said, this image is 12 megabytes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it down. I'm going to drop it down to 100 by 50 and resize, and I'm going to go create elements again, and you can see I now have a very blurry picture, and it actually shows you the bigger segmented blocks around the outside, the white ones. But as you can see, my picture has become blurred because I took a very large detailed image, I shrunk it way down to about 5%, if my math is correct, and obviously I've now blurred the image. But I am going to show you what that looks like in game. So I'm just going to save the file. Now I've already got saved in the background. We're going to go back into the game. There's our large detailed dragon. I'm going to come up and I'm going to clear all the props. You're always better to clear props if you can help it. Saves the game clearing them as it's trying to load them. Back up here, I'm going to go load file, and I've got my dragon already saved here. and we'll see the dragon come in here at the bottom left hand side. And there he is. So we'll just roll over here, and there's our small picture of our dragon. As you can see, he's not very detailed. If we scroll back, there's a little bit of detail there, but generally if you want a detailed image, this is not what you're looking for. So shrinking a large image like that down doesn't work. Now words are a bit different, silhouettes are a little bit different. Other images shrink better than others. Some images shrink better than others, but for this image it didn't really work. So we're going to go back to the mod. I want to show you one of the tricks that Tamara's got with the mod. So we'll just jump back over to the mod. So I'm going to reload the image. So I'm going to go new. I'm going to go load, bring my dragon back into it, and I'm going to shrink my dragon back down to 500 by 250, resize them, and I'm going to create the elements. And again, this takes a little bit because it is still a fairly large file. Alright, so now that this is re-highlighted, I can see that there's my original 12.5 megabyte file of my dragon that was nice and clear in the game. Here we have a little tool, value for equal. Now, essentially what this does is it merges blocks together. So right now for every pixel I have a block, except for in the white area, but on my dragon for every pixel, every colored pixel, I have a block. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to change this to 12, and the reason I'm changing it to 12 is I tested it before I did the video, so I know this works, but you can play with this yourself. Hit create elements again, and again Tamara's little warning pops up. And you can see that the image has become pixelated, but is still keeping some of the details. And you can also see that instead of 17,000 blocks, I now have down here 4,000, which is much more manageable. Now I might just change this to 13. Just go, let's take out a little bit more of the detail, create elements again, and I've now dropped from 4,000 to 3,700. So I want to see what that looks like in game. So I'm going to go save image, which I'm overriding the original one. I'm going to come back in here to game. I'm going to clear my props, which is the old file here, and I'm going to load back up my dragon because I basically saved over top of the old one, and give it a few seconds here to load up. It won't take too long because the image is only 3,000 pixels instead of the 17, I think, thousand pixels I had originally. And I just did what you should never do, is click on your screen, and Windows is telling me it's not responding. So I'm just going to wait. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to panic. And there it is. It's loaded. So there is our pixel, our dragon now. Now it's obviously not as detailed, but you've got a nice big large dragon flying around in your room. Now I'm just going to go off to the side here and have a quick look at the file size, because I actually never checked this before. And my dragon is now 2.6 megabytes, so it's still too big, but I wanted to show you how the value for equal tool works, where you can basically start combining pixels together. We go back to the mod now. We resize this down to let's say 300. Resize, create elements. You can see now we have 1700 blocks there, so we've halved our size again. If I save that and we go back into the game, we clear props, okay, and we load from file, okay. There's our dragon, which we just saved over. And while I'm doing that, I'll let you know that the dragon now is 1.2 megabytes while we wait for him to load up. So by reducing the overall size of the image, we've actually now reduced our size by almost half again. and there you can see the image. Again, it's not clear, it's not blurry. I'm not here to try and create a fantastic looking image for you. I was just here to show you how to use the tool, and some basic information about it. Please read Tamarin's guide on the tool. It's where you download it. He goes into great detail about the mod itself. So good luck and have fun, and I hope you enjoyed this guide.